everybody, this is Lisa.
And this is Joe.
And welcome to your Cheap Date Show for July 21st, 2007. On this week's show,
A brew pub near the ballpark.
Maybe we should get some
Sorry.
Maybe we should get some real music and sound effects.
We could.
We don't have to, though.
You know what?
Especially considering we're recording the July 21st podcast on July 21st.
I know, this is fresh.
Like a steaming pile of
podcast
freshness. And
it doesn't get any fresher than this, darling. Yeah, that's right. And tonight's episode is fueled by Modelo Especial, Cerveza Mexico.
Delicioso.
Modelo. Oh.
Appropriate, because we are talking about a genuine brewpub experience tonight. And when I say genuine brewpub, I mean they really do make beer there.
They do.
It's not just brewpub style.
That's right. And it's a bit different from Modelo, shall we say.
Well, yes, in that it's not brewed in Mexico, because I'm sure it would be warm by the time it got to the table.
That's a good point. You got a good point there, kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
So, first
Actually,
of all,
I don't know if this is brewed in Mexico either. Is it?
How dare you?
Well, I don't know. Is
Imported beer. Look at the label. Imported beer.
Imported from where? Canada?
From Mexico. Oh.
Okay.
That's right.
My bad.
It's okay. Enjoy your cerveza.
Mm-hmm.
This week we're talking about what we did last week, which was what we didn't do the week before. I don't even know what that means.
What?
I'm sorry. I saw an opening and I just went for it, and I realized once I went through the opening that I really had nothing to say.
You had nowhere to go.
No, we're talking about going to Wrigley Field. You can't beat fun at the old ballpark, as the late great Harry Carey used to say.
That's right. And, well, this was a family event. We had my parents and my brother in town.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to meet for lunch at Goose Island.
The Goose Island Brewpub.
The Goose Island Brewpub.
Goose Island has a couple of locations. They have one, the one that I had been to years ago is actually on 1800 North Clybourne. And then they have one at 3535 North Clark Street in Chicago, which just happens to be a half a block away from Wrigley Field, or as you so eloquently put it, spitting distance.
Well, everybody knew what I meant, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
It means your feet won't get sore walking there.
Exactly. Although you might trip over some guys trying to sell you peanuts or contraband T-shirts.
Yeah, well, that's to be expected.
T-shirts that say...
Socks suck.
Yeah, which is...
I know, mean-spirited.
It's like, no, but you know what? It's...
I think it's a little easier to be uncynical about the socks.
Yeah.
But we always end up at Wrigley Field, and that's cool.
Yeah, we do.
And as on this occasion, it's usually a family gathering.
Yes.
We all enjoy it.
It was a convergence of denizens of 3 states. Liquid, gas, and
har, har, har.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois. That's one great thing about living in Chicago, more or less, is that it's always easy to get family here.
That's right.
There are interstates here from all over the country.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's awesome. Okay, let's talk about beer.
Well, your parents came up from Indiana, your brother came down from Wisconsin, and there was a confluence.
Right, I think I
Clark
said that,
Street.
actually.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Can we talk about beer now?
Now we can talk about beer.
Come on, Joe. Throw me a bone.
Throw me a frickin' bone. What's the 411?
What's the 312?
Ah, the 312 is a delightful little wheat ale, which, in fact, we enjoyed on this program not very long ago.
Let me read you Goose Island's description of 312, which is the one that you're most likely to find. They actually had it at the Schaumburg Flyers game
That's true. They did.
312, if you're anywhere near Chicago, is the one that you're most likely to actually see out. It's
either in a bar or in the stores.
Yeah, or at a vendor or something. A crisp and refreshing unfiltered wheat ale with hazy straw color. The light floral hop nose is followed by a vibrant fruity ale flavor. A blend of pale barley malt and torrefied American wheat yield a smooth body, clean malt character, and crisp finish. Food pairing suggestion: Caesar salad and shrimp martini.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so did you have the Caesar salad or shrimp martini with your urban wheat ale?
I did not.
Oh, what did you have?
I had
a nice little ceviche or...
yes, it was something very
light.
I had something very light, very subtle, very low-cal.
Bright on the palate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the... What's their adjective? Classic? Legendary. The legendary Stilton burger.
Oh. And what is that?
It's like I said, describe it. It's very light.
Half pound of black pepper crusted burger, grilled and topped with roasted garlic cloves, Stilton cheese, and Dusseldorf mustard on a pumpernickel roll.
Oh, man.
Holy cow.
Literally. Quite literally. I was like Homer Simpson eating the 40-pound steak. I was having visions of people.
And what is Stilton cheese like?
Stilton is like a blue cheese.
Oh, gosh. So that right there is pretty heavy.
So imagine the cheese, the garlic cloves, the pepper-encrusted burger.
And the spicy mustard.
Your father referred to it as a stinky burger.
The legendary stinky burger.
Yeah. Ooh. All I know is when I went into the ballpark, some 45 minutes later, I was...
We had to roll you in.
I was not in the mood for any snackage when we got there.
And, they recommend that with a stout, but I think you might have made a good choice by going with a light ale.
Yeah, stout would have been... The whole thing would have been way too heavy.
Although you could have gone for something... I actually might have gone for something even crisper than 312. Something super crisp to really lighten that up.
Right.
Now, if you were going to have a Caesar salad, you would need something like 312. You couldn't have a stout.
Exactly.
But with this, I think
just overpower it.
Yeah. I think you did well by going with something heavy on the food end and light on the beer end. Both of my selections are not listed on here, although I will tell you about this one.
Is that correct grammar?
No.
Both of my selections are not? Shouldn't it be
Does anybody
neither?
Not know what I mean?
I'm just going to sit back here and listen to the rest of the show.
Of course it's not.
I'm just going to push the buttons. You keep talking.
What do you think? I'm reading off a script that got proofread? A couple people in our party had summertime Kolsch beer, brewed with authentic German hops and malt, quenches Chicago's summertime thirst.
All of Chicago?
Pleasant fruit aromas lead to a light, especially on game day. Pleasant fruit aromas lead to a light pale malt palate with toasted French bread in the middle and mild citrusy hops. Finishes smoothly with mild bitterness. Lovely.
Mm-hmm. Not too shabby.
But what I had was a strawberry beer. Now, I like sweet beer, and I like a wheat ale or a lager, and I liked this one. It was very strawberry-y. The only other strawberry ale I've had is Pete's Wicked Ale, strawberry blonde. And that one, the flavor is like a light wheat ale, and you just get a strawberry aroma. It's actually kind of trippy. Like, you almost might think you're imagining the strawberry. It's there. It's when you lift up...
You take a drink and you go, yeah, there's something in there.
Well, when you lift up the glass, you smell the strawberry, but when you take a drink, you don't taste it. So you kind of think, is it
Am
really
I hallucinating?
There? Well, not exactly, but this had strawberry flavor. This was almost like they had strained in strawberry puree. Although, I mean, not that they did, but...
Mm-hmm.
But it was that distinct a strawberry flavor. So, I'm not sure I would do that again, because I think I like my beer a little bit less fruity. But it was interesting, especially in the middle of the summer, you know.
That's true.
It's fun to try stuff like that.
Sure. What did you have accompanying your strawberry brew?
I had the food equivalent of a strawberry brew, which was a portobello and roasted pepper sandwich.
Ah.
It's not listed on this menu, but it was served on a baguette. Marinated roasted portobello mushrooms. Roasted sweet red peppers, but they were marinated in something that made them a little spicy. There was a word for it, and I can't remember what it was. They were very good. Goat cheese.
Yeah.
And I think
someone going on vacation, folks. There they go.
I think like an olive tapenade spread on the bread.
Okay.
It was very good. The goat cheese especially was sharp like cheddar, but not quite as heavy as cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
Very creamy, a little smoky maybe. Maybe not. I don't know what smoky really means about cheese. But yeah, it was nice. And I was able to walk myself into the ballpark, which is, I mean, it's something to think about if you're eating before a game and having a beer before a game. Now you have to go sit in warm summer weather and watch a game for,
right,
as it turned out, like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it was a long game. It was a good game.
We
were up on the upper deck, which was in the shade most of the game. Upper
Yes.
deck near third base, so that's...
It was a beautiful day. It was when the breeze came through, it felt no more than 70.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect.
So that was great. We've had a nice, cool summer here.
We have. And the Cubs totally trounced they didn't trounce, but it was a great game. They won. They beat the Astros. So, Goose Island, our entrees were, my burger was like $8.99. Yours was not much more than that, if that.
No, I think it was the same.
The beers are reasonable. It was a cheap date because why?
Because my parents paid.
Oh, so there you go. Totally cheap.
I don't know how cheap you can get. I think there are cheaper places near Wrigley Field.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But when you consider the crowd we had and that everybody enjoys a good beer list and a good kind of adventurous beer. Now, if we had been with a bunch of people who ordered Bud Light, I would say we should just go to some bar down the street. But we all ordered a different beer and got to try something new, and we all enjoyed the food. So, I mean, I think for that kind of group, it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess what I'm meaning to say is there are probably cheaper places.
There are.
That a lot of people would be totally happy with. That you and I would be totally happy with. We passed some other places that looked cool, but this worked very well. And actually, they had huge screen TVs to get a little. Well, they didn't have the pregame on. Do they have a pregame for basketball or for baseball games?
Sometimes they do. Oh yeah, the leadoff man. That's what they call the show.
But they had big screen TVs if you're there to watch the game, and the service was really good. We didn't feel rushed. I mean, it was totally hectic outside, and when we got inside, it was actually kind of calm.
Mm-hmm.
But like calm in a good way, not like boring calm.
Right. So that was good.
Yeah.
The atmosphere at the restaurant is, how would you describe it? It's sort of warehousey.
It's dark. It is warehousey, and they have that atrium with the brewing machinery.
Right.
And, I mean, they have operations right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, when you walk in, you walk through the bar, and then they have a seating area in the back. It's dark. Was it loud?
It was pretty loud.
What was loud about it?
There was a big party in the back corner. There was a huge party. There was a bunch of tables pushed together, and there was some sort of event going on back in the corner.
I think maybe the high ceilings, too, just added to the general loudness.
Plus, they had the KFC World Series of fast pitch girls softball on as well. So, and they had the volume turned up on that too. So
I guess what I'm thinking is it was loud, but I don't remember like thumping, pounding music or anything.
No, they had music playing
or a super loud TV, but generally it was loud. So, which actually, in a way, gives you some privacy.
Mm-hmm. And our server was really good too. She was very attentive. Mm-hmm. She was very friendly. The bus boys were around. They were filling our water glasses. It all worked out.
You know
nicely.
what? Let me just call it what it is. we have you and I who live here, you who grew up here, and I who did not. And is that bad grammar?
You're good.
Think about that. My parents from Indiana, who being from Indiana, they're not used to the pace here sometimes. And my brother from Madison, who is used to a faster pace and who likes really good, I mean, he's traveled enough and been enough places and tried enough things that it's kind of hard to get something that's a new experience for him. So, it was nice that the menu was diverse and the beer list was diverse, but the atmosphere was low key. And I mean, not that my parents are super old or slow or anything, but just like, you can't take them to a place where there's no menu posted and you have to scream your order.
Right.
I'm trying to think of some place we've been like that, but you know what I mean.
I know what you're talking about. So it was a crowd pleaser.
Or a place where the waitress brings you your food and then doesn't come back for 30 minutes.
So it was, yeah.
Like, there are some people who can handle that. In this crowd, we needed, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. We wanted a nice, casual dining experience, blocks from the stadium, and that's exactly what we got.
Right about noon on Sunday, right before a game, we were able to get a table right away. Worked out beautifully.
Yeah,
and they had
overall, it was just a lot less stressful and hectic than I expected.
And they had a record crowd there, too. They had it was 41,000 and some change,
wow,
which was the largest attendance this season so far at that game. So, yeah, worked out very nicely.
Yeah, go us.
Okay, so that's the Goose Island Brewpub. As we said, there's one at 1800 North Clybourne. The one we went to is at 3535 North Clark Street. Head over there, check it out. We think you'll enjoy it. Now, we need to move on because we're burning daylight.
Don't start with me.
I always hate that expression.
Then why do you use it like 4 times a week?
Because I know it annoys you.
Oh, that's nice. Is that what marriage is all about?
That's what it's all about. Finding those little buttons and just pushing them.
You learn every intimate detail about one another and then use it against each other.
That's right.
Nice, Joe. Nice. Oh, who am I kidding? We're still on the honeymoon.
We're going to be doing... Yeah, I think we should be doing...
sorry, baby.
That's okay, honey.
I didn't mean to be hurtful.
We'll be doing encounter weekends with married couples.
How long have you been married? 4 months.
We'll be hosting them. Here's what you do, ladies.
Hosting them.
Find out what really annoys them and then just do it over and over and over again. We have for the first time in a long time, we have a guest review. Let's hear the theme.
No.
Just a brief version.
Guest review. It's time for a guest review. That's all I know.
Okay. Listener CB, one of our regular correspondents.
Oh, yes.
Who's located here in the Chicago area, sent us a review of Barnelli's, which for those of you who are in the Chicago area, there's a large chain of hot dog places which has been growing like fireweed. Well, I don't know how fireweed grows.
What is fireweed?
It's up in Alaska.
Like Creeping Charlie?
When I was going to say, that's what I was trying to think, or the lemon thing.
Lemon balm?
Or Creeping Charlie. No, fireweed is...
I found some of that in the front yard, by the way.
Did you really?
Yeah, in the flower bed.
How does it smell? Like lemon?
I didn't smell it.
Oh.
It's Creeping Charlie. It doesn't
Oh,
it smells like
found
Charlie, I guess. I don't know.
There's a fragrance that's here today. No, fireweed is... don't worry, we're going to cover all loose ends here, folks. No, fireweed is what grows up in Alaska, near the Kenai River. And the old saying goes, as many of you out there know already, you know where this is going.
When the fireweed is in bloom.
The silver salmon are running on the Kenai River. There's a videotape of my dad and his friend Jerry up in Alaska. And Jerry is sitting among the fireweed like an old sage. There's an old saying.
Jerry's something of a kidder, from
when
what
the
I
fireweed is in bloom. Anyway, Portillo's is growing like mad. And there are a lot of airplanes tonight, folks. We apologize for that. There's a chain called Portillo's, and they have in many of their restaurant locations, they do sort of a co-location type of thing where they have other restaurant concepts that they stick in with the hot dog place. So if, for example, you're in the mood, or as Lisa likes to say,
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
He's thinking wild hair, but I'm not going to say it.
No. I was going to say if you feel like a hot dog.
If you feel like a hot dog, yeah.
You can get a hot dog at Portillo's, or you can join another line and go to one of these other conceptual restaurants, restaurant concepts. I know what I'm trying to say. Just go with it. And get something else. For example, a nice pasta salad or something like that. So CB wanted to tell us and give his opinions of Barnelli's, which is attached to Portillo's. Barnelli's, you can get ribs. You can get pasta. Thank you. Pasta dishes and whatnot. It's very good.
The more elaborate salads.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. He visits the one regularly up in Vernon Hills, which is near your office.
Spitting distance from where I work.
Mm-hmm. And also in Naperville, which is not spitting distance from anywhere near us anyway. And anyway, when he goes there, you get your choice of half or full slab of ribs. He usually goes for the half ribs and gets the dinner option with that, which comes with 2 sides. You get your choice of a salad, a Caesar salad or a dinner salad. I have had the Caesar salad from Barnelli's before, and it's really, really good and really garlicky, which is good. CB got the dinner salad. And then you also pick another side from their list of items. The list isn't out there, but he said the lady at the register rattled it off to him. And if he remembers right, there's mostaccioli, baked potatoes, fries, or a few other items, and he got mostaccioli.
Whoa, mostaccioli is a side?
As a side. Well, a little side dish of mostaccioli. Well, a little side dish of mostaccioli.
I guess. Anything small enough is a side.
He thought the pasta was very average. He thought the sauce was very good, but the pasta itself wasn't anything to brag about. He said it wasn't bad, it just wasn't the freshest. And he said so the ribs, he said, were wonderful. They were just spicy enough to keep going past his "I feel full" mark. I'm making air quotes right now. And he said the meat was tender and not too tender because he doesn't like his meat to be mushy.
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah, we're completely all on top of that. The other thing that's interesting that I like that he said here is that, and this is true because I've run into this before, all the items, when you order stuff, it's all given to you at once. So when you're sitting there, eating your salad, you got this slab of ribs staring at you.
Yeah, you don't have any time to ramp up and
exactly when those ribs get here. So he really liked it. His advice for anyone who goes there is to make sure you bring your own wet nap because they didn't provide one, and your hands get completely coated in sauce. So
no, I'd like to bring up I have a question about this, just briefly. He said the sauce is good, but the pasta is not anything special.
Right.
And I'd be interested to know from CB or anybody else what they consider to be really good pasta. I realize that I have a very low bar for pasta. I don't know why. I think I grew up on just, packaged dried spaghetti that was cooked until
Prince.
It was chewable.
Prince or whatever the house brand it. Meyer or...
yeah, pretty much. Or
Kroger?
Yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally have my al dente range is huge. I think some people would consider my pasta way overcooked, but sometimes I'm in a hurry and it's way undercooked. But usually it's overcooked because I put it on to boil and I just walk away. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm hungry, I come back to the kitchen and it's soft and all the water's gone. No, it's not that bad. But I would be interested to know what people consider, I guess restaurant-wise in particular, or if there's a brand that's especially good, or if they can just describe what perfectly cooked pasta is like. I'd be interested to hear that.
And we know who the listeners are that we're going to hear from on this as well. I got a list of about 5 listeners, and you all know who you are.
And we love you for it.
And anyone and everyone, tell us your opinion of pasta. And of course, there are going to be those who are going to say, make your own. get your little pasta maker and make your own.
I'm considering it.
Which my sister does, actually. And I've had the homemade pasta. She made...
How is it? Is it really
it was
that
ravioli
different?
or tortilla. Oh, yeah. It does taste different. It doesn't taste like... even Barilla, which they say... Barilla. which they say is supposed to be, as authentic gets. It's still boxed pasta.
Mm-hmm. I have had just quickly homemade mac and cheese. Obviously, the macaroni was not homemade, but the difference between that and like Kraft mac and cheese, especially the powder kind, I mean, they're like two totally different foods. And I wonder if it's the same thing with pasta, and I just don't know because I've never been to the other side.
Right.
So, anyway.
Oh, very good. Okay. So let us know. Mm-hmm. We'll give you the contact information in just a minute, although we think y'all pretty much know it by now. A couple of other quick little restaurant news items. Sala Carvalho, which is a Brazilian steakhouse located in Schaumburg, not very far from here, and site of the October 2003 Meat Fest, starring my pals Glenn and Chris and myself.
Meat Fest.
Oh, that was wonderful. There are photos. Somewhere, actually, there's a blog entry that hasn't been completed about this yet. Complete with photos. And we've been talking about when we're going to do Meat Fest Part 2, and we're still trying to schedule it.
This year the wives are interested, and so the whole thing has been called off.
See, we're going to turn this into a Prairie Home Companion. You just pulled a Garrison Keeler on us.
Let's not.
We can do Garrison and Ira Glass.
I would like to go, but I do realize that if I offer to go and then the other wives decide they want to go too, the whole thing will be wrecked.
Lisa's hungry for meat.
I don't know the other wives, but I just know.
It's steak. And there's tons of it, and it comes around, and people actually, they eat it. Okay. I'm still working on my Ira Glass. Like that, though, huh? Anyway, Sala Carvalho changed its name. It is now called Z451.
Is that like HAL 9000 or whatever?
Probably. Or...
Is that the supercomputer in the back? Wait, Z451?
Z451.
Do they fuel the grills with burning books?
Oh, that's a good point. Perhaps they've been taken over by some sort of...
Like Fahrenheit 451?
Yeah. No, I think they did it because they think it sounds cool. And they have a new logo, too, which looks kind of cool.
It does sound cool. Z451.
And their logo, you know what font they use on their sign? Euro style.
I was just going to say Euro style.
Yeah.
Well, what else?
Exactly.
Really? So are they trying to be like a modern techie
I think maybe people are having
Brazilian
trouble.
steakhouse?
I think maybe people are having difficulty pronouncing Sala Carvalho because it's in Portuguese.
Oh, but Z451 is totally visceral.
Yeah.
You know immediately what you're getting into.
Exactly.
It sounds like an intimidating Euro club.
Actually, it does, sort of. But
we are
we're
going
not
to Z451 to dance.
We're not dissing the place. We just don't know. But we'd been there. The food was great.
The name.
We think that maybe, I'm not sure.
Doesn't exactly make my mouth water,
exactly.
That's all.
So if we have a chance to check that out, maybe we'll give you a little report on that. Because if Lisa decides to break her vegetarian fast, her vegetarian...
And I think about it 4 times a day.
So that might be the way to do it is at a place like that. You'll go into a coma after going there. So anyway, from what I understand, it's the same thing. It's just a different name now. I just mentioned it because when you drive up Algonquin Road or any of their other locations, all of a sudden it's a different sign. So
okay, but it's
supposedly the same place inside. The other thing that I realized or that I discovered this morning is that one of my favorite restaurants in Elk Grove Village, which closed a long time ago, Cucina Roma, there's a new restaurant going in there.
Oh.
And it's a place called Topa, which is described as serving American cuisine, specializing in steaks, chops, and seafood. And they're going into the town center right across from La Magdalena. They have a sign up there that says, "Coming soon, Topa." So I was very happy to see that this morning because they need a restaurant in that location. That's a great location. It just happens to be right next to the health club. So what's the best thing to have after working out than a big old hairy steak? Well, not hairy.
Hairy.
Sorry, I have Potter mania on my head. That's why. So a big old steak after working out.
And actually, strangely enough, what we need around here is good, solid American food.
We do.
We have every ethnic food under the sun, which is great. But it's kind of hard to go find a good steak sometimes.
Right. So those of you if you happen to be the people behind Topa and you're listening to this, be prepared. We're going to be swinging by. Now, the one thing that needs to be mentioned,
dated.
and I don't know exactly. I don't know if we've mentioned this on the show before, but Cucina Roma, which was there before, and the thing is that when I looked in the window today, and they're like gutting the place. And I hope they don't gut it too much, because there was one very significant thing about Cucina Roma, which I thought made it completely. In fact, we did talk about this on the show.
Yeah, but you should recap briefly.
Briefly, yeah, because we're running short of time. These people got to go. It's summertime. The restaurant that was there before had a bar. I did mention this. It had a bar, and behind the bar, as you're sitting in the bar, looking, and there's a guy playing a piano. Very cool place. Behind the bar is a giant mirror, and there's bottles stacked up on there. And you think, okay, that's pretty cool. So I go to excuse myself to go to the men's room, and the men's room is behind the bar. Not like you walk around the bar.
Just walk back there and take a whiz.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, thanks. Oh, I'll be done here in a minute. No, it's in the room adjacent to the bar. And that mirror that's on the back of the bar is a one-way mirror. So you can be standing there in the bathroom doing whatever you got to be doing in there, and you can look right into the bar.
Oh, so you can keep an eye on your girl.
Keep an eye on your girl. So I was here on a date long before I knew you. I was here on a date, and I think it was like the first or second date with this particular person, and she was sitting in the bar having a drink, and I saw our waitress go up and say something to her, and then the waitress walked away, and then my date looked squarely at me and waved and smiled.
And you're standing there with
like,
your junk in your hand.
What? So I go back to the table and I sit down, and it's like, and she just starts busting out laughing. And I'm looking at the bar, and she just says, "You can't see through there." She motioned to our server. She goes, "She told me that it's a one-way mirror." I said, "Yeah, it is. It's pretty wild." So I'm hoping that when they build the new place, they leave that in place.
Performance anxiety might be an issue. I mean, I don't know if I could handle that.
That's true. Well, you can close your eyes. Or you can, well, never mind. We're going into TMI territory.
Okay, well, anyway.
So that's
pretty trippy, but that's cool, yeah.
Very cool. So I believe that covers, let's go through here. I think that's everything we needed to cover.
And then some.
And then some. So if people want to get a hold of us and they want to make a comment about any of this nonsense that we're talking about, Lisa, how would they do that?
I recommend email.
Really? Mm-hmm. It's solid. It's relatively reliable. It's out there.
Cheap. And they'll want to email dish@cheapdateshow.com.
It's true. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 206-203-3283. We appreciate all. Oh, great. My ride's here.
Har har.
We love all the cards and letters that everyone is sending, electronically and verbally. Cards and letters,
Yeah, no, it's great.
You know what I'm talking about.
The feedback, we love it.
We do love the feedback. So thanks again for listening.
The recipes, the tips.
That's true. Oh, we have a bunch of stuff that we didn't talk about still. That we're still name. We'll save it all. We're banking it all for future shows. So keep tuning in, folks, because you'll enjoy this stuff anyway. Thanks again, and we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Good night.
This podcast is a production of Cheap Date Media at cheapdatemedia.com.